Peace, guys. Welcome back to ZENSFXHUB, where fundamentals are simplified. And this video is a part two from the first video I dropped, where I talked about Trump and Venezuela and how to look at the bigger picture from what's going on right now and not, getting blinded by the headlines. Okay, so I wanted to put together another slideshow where I talk about some of the things we need to look for and how to look at this as the bigger picture. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and get into it. And I would like to, advise you real quick. I did get some teeth. I did get some work done on my teeth today, so my mouth is hurting right now. In case I start talking weird or I can't pronounce certain things, just wanted to give you guys like a heads up. Okay. All right. So, the future of American power, resources, influence, and control. We're gonna talk about it all. All right. So the big picture, right? What's this big picture that I'm talking about? All right. The U.S. is repositioning for power, not peace. And the main points we're going to talk about in this slide is how the U.S. is shifting towards a resource-first geopolitics. Oil, minerals, and geography matters more than speeches. And Venezuela and Greenland aren't random. They fit a pattern. Okay, so we're going to talk about that, I promise. Okay? So before we discuss anything, we have to understand how did we get here, right? Why the U.S. has leverage over Venezuelan oil, okay? So Venezuela owns massive oil reserves, but they could not produce it efficiently, right? That's because they had years of mismanagement and sanctions that left the industry collapsed. Now foreign buyers, banks, and shipping are needed to be able to get this oil to market, and that's where the U.S. come into play, right? The U.S. now controls who can buy and sell and profit from this industry, okay? Why Venezuela matters, okay? Venezuela equals energy leverage, all right? Like I said, they have the largest reserve on Earth. It's roughly worth about $17 trillion, right? And production collapsing in their country created an opportunity for outside control to come in, the U.S., okay? Whoever revives Venezuelan oil controls who could benefit from it, okay? So oil isn't just about fuel. It's about pricing power, alliances, and pressure. If the U.S. influences Venezuelan output, it also can influence global markets, okay? So this right here is a chart of the oil reserve owned by countries, okay? And as you can see, Venezuela is at the top. Saudi Arabia is right behind them, okay? So if you want to screenshot this, go ahead, do your thing, okay? All right, so how Venezuelan oil helps the U.S., right? What's the leverage that the U.S. gets from this? Okay, excuse me. So number one, price stability at home. Okay, more supply means less global price pressure. Okay, so pretty much the way you look at that is let's say you're a farmer, right? And you have chickens and cows. You don't have to go to the supermarket and pay for overpriced chicken or overpriced eggs or overpriced milk when you have it in your own backyard. That's all that means, okay? It keeps inflation calmer in the U.S., right? And I put at the bottom, I explain exactly what that means, right? So lower oil prices give the U.S. cheaper gas, shipping, and energy. Cheaper energy puts less pressure on prices for everything that people buy in the U.S. This helps the U.S. avoid price spikes that hurt consumers in the economy, which helps keep inflation low. So cheaper energy makes things cheaper in the U.S., which is good because it's not consumers aren't paying not paying too much for things that they need and that they want type of thing, which keep the economy stable. All right, so that right there. Number two, pressure on rivals. China and Russia currently benefited from the distressed oil deals that were being done in Venezuela. They were profiting while Venezuela was struggling. So they was pretty much getting oil at a super cheap price, and that was not benefiting their Venezuela's country. So now that the U.S. has control, they in the driver's seat, it disrupts that advantage. Okay, so now it's putting pressure on China and Russia because now they have to figure out how they're gonna get oil in a different way. At maybe at a cheaper price or the same price that they were getting it before, or they might have to pay premium prices for oil now. Okay, so we don't know just yet. So number three, economic control without physical takeover. So right now the U.S. is using contracts, shipping, and finances, not territory. So pretty much They're using capitalistic things to be able to take over this country instead of going in with their guns blazing and like causing a lot of like havoc and stuff like that. Okay, I want you to keep that in mind, right? They control the system that makes oil useful. It's no point of having all this oil if you don't have the system to be able to dash it out. All right, so this is the leverage that they have. Trump's logic, right? Why Trump is willing to push this far? Okay, look, whatever your opinion is on Trump, keep it at the door. We're not here to talk about our feelings when it comes to this stuff, right? Trump is unapologetically pro-America. Excuse me. He walked around his first term with a red hat on saying "Make America Great Again," and he's standing on business. No questions asked, right? He's willing to use economic pressure instead of diplomacy, okay, to get things done. He's also less concerned with global approval and more concerned with outcomes. He don't give a damn about who likes him. All he cares about is this working? Is this going to benefit the United States? Yes or no? That's all he cares about, right? The U.S. is using sanctions, tariffs, and control over trade to get results instead of negotiating deals and relying on treaties. He ain't about that life right now. He like, nah, like it's my last term. I'm going out with a bang. Trump prioritizes controlling resources for America, power, and safety. Now, whether if it's fair or right for other countries, like I said, he don't give a damn. He just worry about if this is gonna make America cool. I'm with it. You feel me? This isn't about Trump being impulsive. It's about America securing leverage in a world that's getting more competitive and less cooperative. So he's trying to put the U.S. in a place where it can fight back against anything that comes its way, type shit. You feel me? So Greenland, right? Why Greenland is next, right? Arctic and critical minerals. Excuse me, sorry. Arctic shipping routes are opening due to ice melting, right? Which will create shorter trade routes between North America, Europe, and Asia. So pretty much, right, if it took a month for these barrels of oil to get to Asia, it might only take 2 weeks now. Like, I'm just over exaggerating, but this is the logic to that statement, okay? Rare earth minerals needed for tech, batteries, and military equipment are abundant in Greenland. Okay? This is about strategic location. Military and civilians advantage over the North Atlantic and Arctic, right? So this is why Greenland is up next. And there are things out there that you can read that are showing that, Trump is making his way to Greenland the same way it did in Venezuela, right? Might be different, might be the same. Who knows, right? We'll see when them headlines drop. Greenland is the future. Whoever controls the Arctic and critical resources will do well in the future, okay? So the pattern, right? This is bigger than Venezuela, right? This is about resource security over diplomacy. This is about geography over ideology. That word is so dumb. And this is about long-term leverage over short-term popularity. This isn't about one country. It's about making sure that the U.S. is never dependent. Okay? This is what all Trump care about. So he's willing to do whatever he needs to do to get us there. To get the U.S. there. Pretty much. So going forward, what to watch? Okay? Remember this bigger picture, right? What we might see moving forward is more pressure on resource-rich, unstable countries. So how Venezuela was unstable and they was rich in oil. Trump, the U.S. took over that. And now Greenland, rich in minerals. The U.S. is about to make its way there. So you can start doing your homework on this to get ahead of it if you want. What countries are rich in resources but don't have any type of leadership or everything is just collapsed, right? This is what you could look for. Okay, economic tools used like weapons. So instead of using guns, they're using pens and blank checks type shit. You feel me? And global pushback. Other countries start forming alliance to protect their own interests. So going back to China and Russia and other countries are definitely in bed with one another because they're trying not to do business with the U.S. anymore. They're trying to cut ties with the U.S. pretty much. So we might see these countries come together and form an alliance against the U.S. And I'm kind of like, you know, curious to see how that plays out and what that looks like. Okay. And so before we get out of here, right, the future won't be decided by speeches. It will be decided by who controls energy, minerals, and routes. You don't need to invade a country to control it. You just need influence over its most valuable asset. That is a bar. It's plain and simple. That wraps up this whole entire slideshow, all right? So if you found any value in this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And yeah, I'm going to just keep on giving y'all updates and shit like that.